Hello everyone, my name is Sofia Bernardi and welcome to my YouTube channel. I help men and women to bring their vision to life through conquering self-doubt. This brings me so much joy helping men and women all over the world to love their life and have complete confidence in themselves. If you would like to learn more about what I do and who I am, just head to sofiarosebernardi.com. So, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my Vipassana Meditation retreat experience. In this video, I'm going to be sharing what it is, my experience, and what I learned. So, stay tuned to the end to learn all of my learnings from this experience. I do just want to say a very quick disclaimer that everything I do share on my experience in this retreat is just my own opinion and my own learnings. If you would really like to learn more about this, I'm going to leave a link below to do your own research on Vipassana meditation. So let's get into what Vipassana is. So it is simply a meditation technique that does come from Buddhism. It's a very old technique that has been around for such a long time, and the purpose of it is to clear out all of the pain and misery from the root cause, clear it completely out of your body so that you can reach a place of inner peace and joy. And if you really do clear out everything, you reach a place of enlightenment. It takes a lot of work to get there. It is a long journey because we all have so many layers of pain and misery from past experiences, and so it does take a lot of work to really clear all of that out, but with consistency you can absolutely get there. And you know that this meditation is working when you experience not reacting to as many things in your life. So if you're in traffic and usually you get really frustrated by slow drivers and you react to that, or a friend's really mean to you and you react to that, or your phone's always buzzing and you're just constantly reacting, and instead of responding, that's what causes a lot of pain and misery, is the constant need to react and have cravings towards things or avoiding certain things. You know that this meditation practice is working when you're completely comfortable as you are, you're not craving anything, you're not avoiding anything, and therefore you're not reacting so much. You're simply being and responding in a way that feels good and doesn't harm other people or yourself. So yeah, that's my take on what Vipassana meditation is. Now for what the retreat actually is, it's run all over the world, so it's the exact same experience all over the world. It's an organisation, and I did mine in South Australia, where I'm from. And basically it's a 10-day retreat, so you go there and you sleep for 11 nights and 10 days. It's a silent retreat, so you're not allowed to look at anyone, no eye contact, you're not allowed to talk to anyone, you're not allowed to have any technology, you are not allowed to bring a journal or a book, no distractions of any form. You're not allowed to have any contact with the outside world for 10 days. And that's just some of the rules. You're obviously not allowed to kill or harm any animals or insects or people or anything like that. There are so many rules, but essentially the rule of thumb is to have no distractions and no communication, as they believe that meditators work best in a place of silence, and I do tend to agree. The only person you could speak to if you had any problems or concerns or questions is the manager and the teacher. You're not allowed to speak to any other students or have any eye contact with them. So that was really it, to be honest. So now I'll get into my experience. So the first evening you have dinner, then you do a meditation, and then you go to bed, and then the first proper day is the following day. And I remember being in such denial. I was like, I don't think I can do this for another 10 days. It just felt like the longest day. I was excited to learn the technique, but it was really difficult because all you're doing is meditating every day for 10 days. So you're literally meditating for 11 hours a day. Yeah, it's a lot of meditating. You're not allowed to do exercise or anything like that. You're just allowed to go for a walk in your break within the boundary of the place where you're at, and you get breakfast, you get lunch, a really nice lunch, and then you get a piece of fruit for dinner. Everything's vegetarian, and if you're an old student, you're not allowed any fruit at all for dinner. You just fast. So you just get breakfast and lunch. And so every single day was the same routine pretty much. It's just meditating, and then in the breaks you can sleep or walk or eat. That's it. And that was my day, every day for 10 days. However, every single day you do start to learn a little bit more of the technique, and then by the end of the 10 days you understand the entire meditation practice. So day 1 I was in denial. Day 2 I started to feel a little bit of acceptance and hope. I found that I was starting to come to terms with, okay, I can do this. I actually had a bit of a challenging situation come up on day 2, and that was I was meditating at one point, and an event came up and I got emotional about it. I was absolutely fine, just releasing some tears, which I thought was all part of it. However, someone got really worried that I was sick because I sounded like I had a runny nose, and that just happened because I was crying, and someone was really worried that I was sick and had a virus. So that person was quite worried, and so I actually got sent away for a few hours just to separate myself, to make sure I wasn't contagious, and they kept checking my temperature, and it was like 35 degrees and you're not allowed to show any skin, so I'm wearing a jumper and long pants, and it was so hot. And then of course I had just been crying, so my temperature was so high, and because it came high I had to be separated from everyone else, and that caused even more stress for me. I was already so uncomfortable being in this situation, isolated from everyone, and then I got even more isolated because one person was really worried. However, I rested, and then when the manager came back to check on me and check my temperature again, it finally came back down to the normal temperature, as she knew I wasn't sick, but she just wanted to do the right thing, on behalf of those that were worried. So finally, once I had, my body had calmed down from crying and being stressed and so hot, I was allowed to come back and actually experience the retreat again. So that was really hard on day 2 because I was just taken into the unknown. I think if they had made me stay away for any more than that day, I would have considered leaving, because I really came to learn the technique, and I wasn't going to learn it practicing on my own, was how I was feeling. But the manager said I handled it so well, and she's really glad that I stayed. I really wanted to stay, so that was quite interesting on just day 2 already experiencing that. And I do believe that the person that was worried, I didn't know who it was, but a few people did leave the retreat early, probably or likely because they found it really challenging, and I believe that was one of the people. So I never got to meet that person or speak to them, but no one else seemed to claim that it was them that said it when I met everyone at the end of the retreat. So yeah, I'm just assuming that person left. They left not because of me or that day, they left later on in the retreat, I think about maybe halfway through. I didn't realize anyone had left until people told me when we were allowed to speak again on day 10, because I wasn't paying attention to other people. But yeah, apparently 2 people left, and that is common apparently, because it is really challenging and not everyone is up for it when they realize what they've got themselves into. So I believe that person did leave. But either way, I was quite annoyed on day 2. I was like, when I find out who that person is, I'm going to be so annoyed. But by the end of the retreat, my mindset was totally different, and that was the least of my problems, and I came to total peace about it. Of course, everyone, is going to react differently to uncertainty and things like that, but I'm really grateful I wasn't sick and I was able to come back to the experience. So anyway, that was my day 2. Day 3, through meditating, I came to some beautiful realizations, and one of them was just that I am safe. I can let go of these past, negative emotions and feelings and certain situations in my life. I can let go of them because I'm safe now. I realized through meditating that I haven't always felt safe due to some past experiences I've been through, and I just came to that realization, Sofia, you are safe. And I bawled my eyes out when I realized that and said that to myself. I just completely bawled my eyes out, and it was such a nice release. So that was one of the most powerful, breakthroughs I had on the experience, was just that I am safe and I can let go. I also learned on that day that everything changes. Everything is always changing, so there's no point holding on to people and situations when nothing's going to stay the same, and that attachment only brings misery. I also learned on day 3 just to make the most of every moment, because you do not know when, things are going to change or you'll lose something. And I think I was thinking about people and situations in my life, and I was like, wow, when I come home, I'm going to be so present. I'm going to be so grateful for my partner because I miss him, and all of these things. So I really came to a place of gratitude, and that was just like, wow, every moment is so precious. Make the most of it. On day 4, I really experienced full body sensations for a brief moment, which is a bit of a milestone in the practice. So that's what you're trying to do, is to feel all the sensations on your body. And I was able to do that temporarily, and that felt so cool. I also had some breakthroughs revolving around just letting go of fear and moving towards love. I just really realized love is the answer to everything, and that's what I want to embody and move towards all the time. It's just love. Love is the answer. And so that's something I'm still practicing now, because love just really brings out the best in everyone. And so if you can always come from that place, you're gonna feel damn good. On day 5, I really understood at a deeper level the importance of not reacting to people and situations, and just not reacting to things. I really experienced the power in that and why that's so important. And by the way, every single evening after your full day of meditating, there's a little discourse, which is just a video on the TV screen that you can watch, where one of the meditation teachers, he's no longer alive, it's just previous recordings of a live retreat in India, I think. He's talking about Vipassana and what would have come up for you on this day, and he was always accurate, and just his stories explained so much about what was going on for us and how we were feeling. I just walked away every single night after those videos having learnt so much. It goes for about an hour, so I always looked forward to the videos just to really learn from this master person who had reached a state of enlightenment and was teaching people all around the world on Vipassana. On day 6, I just felt like a failure all day. I felt like I was distracted in every meditation. I felt like the days were going forever and I just wanted to leave. I just remember going to bed that night feeling like I hadn't accomplished anything. Obviously, I would have, but that's just how I was feeling that day. And it's quite interesting because our teacher from the video said that day 2 and day 6 would be the hardest. And so I don't know if I had sort of manifested that in my life because he said that, but those 2 days were the hardest for me. On day 2 I got separated from everyone, and then on day 6 I just felt like a failure all day. So they were definitely the 2 hardest days, and when I spoke to everyone else after, that was the case for all the others as well. So it was really interesting. On day 7 I really learned the importance of dropping into how I feel with acceptance. I just was practicing, probably from struggling so much on day 6. On day 7, my approach was just to accept everything that I was feeling, the failure, the discomfort, everything. And that is what really helped me. So that was one of my biggest learnings on day 7, was just that accept how you're feeling, let it go, don't react to it, and it will go away. On day 8, I remember being really proud that that was the first day where I didn't bawl my eyes out. I wasn't unhappy all the days I cried. It was releasing, and that Sometimes it was uncomfortable, but for the most part, it was really nice to release it all. But nonetheless, I was really proud of myself on day 8. I just really felt ready to leave. I was like, okay, I understand the technique now. I get it. I'm ready to go. Obviously, I didn't react and do that, but that's what was going through my mind, was like, I get the point now. I've done this for 11 hours a day, every day now for 8 days. Like, I want to go. Day 9, again, I was just like, I want to go home now. I get the point. I'm ready. Obviously, I still meditated these days and I still got lots out of it, but there was this big part of me that was just ready to leave. I was so close to the finish line, and I was craving it, and then I was practicing not craving it, because that's the whole point, is just to be at acceptance and present. But I just really wanted to go, and so it was that constant battle of, no, accept where you are, be present, all of those sorts of things, and let go of the attachment and the avoidance to things. So it was a constant test, really. On day 10, it was the best day because it was the last full day, and we were allowed to talk to everyone again. So it felt like such a special day. The breakfast was silent, and the first meditation session of the day was silent, but then after that we could all speak, and it was so nice, and it felt like the day went for so long because we were so present listening to each other. And of course it was an all-female course, so we were talking so much, and it was just so nice to hear other people's experiences and share my own experiences and just connect and actually get to know these people, and hear people's breakthroughs. And everyone was so nice to me. I was the youngest by far. A lot of people were a lot older than me, and a lot of the women came up to me and said, I was so proud of you. So many times I just wanted to come up and hug you and pat you on the back for still being here and keeping on going. Obviously, everyone asked me, where did you go on day 2? What happened? Everyone was so curious about that. So I had to explain that whole situation, that no, I wasn't trying to leave, all of this stuff. But it felt like such a special day to just have lunch with everyone and dinner, and oh, it was such a release. Also on day 10, I let go of something that was really holding me back. It had been something that was bugging me for like 4 days that I wasn't able to let go of, and I finally let go of it after not craving letting go of it, just sitting with it and doing the technique. I finally let go of it, and it was such a releasing feeling and very powerful for me to let go of. And so I was really happy with that, and everyone was so proud of me because obviously after I let go of it, I was able to tell people that I let go of it, and everyone was just so proud of me, and we were just all cheering each other on with how far we had all come. So that was really beautiful. So yeah, that was my meditation experience, and then you still have to sleep the night that night, and I was like, oh my god, I'm happy but I also want to go. But yeah, we slept the night, and then it's the following morning after breakfast that you're allowed to leave. And then at the conclusion of this retreat, you are allowed to donate what you think it's worth and what you would like to contribute to keeping this organization going, because it is a free retreat. It doesn't cost anything. It's purely led by volunteers, and that's really special, and it wouldn't be able to go on without volunteers and without people donating, you know, to supply the food and the accommodation and just to keep it all going. So the donations are extremely important. So I felt really good being able to contribute to the organization and to the building and the construction of places to do my part essentially, and give back for everything that I learned and experienced. So that was a really nice feeling. Yeah, you can donate, and you can also choose to volunteer at the next Vipassana event, which is really special, because of course it wouldn't work without the beautiful volunteers, and you get so much out of volunteering as well. So that was also an option. And then I very happily and excitedly drove home after, and the drive home was so interesting. I could really feel, the car vibrating, and it was so weird to see other cars driving and traffic and, just doing something other than sitting down and meditating. It was very interesting. And so that was a long 2-hour drive home, but very fun. When I came home to my partner that was the best hug, the most releasing hug, and it just felt so good to be with him again and see him, and then start my life with this new experience behind me and these new learnings, and continue the practice. So now that you know what Vipassana meditation is and what my experience was personally like, I'm going to share some of my core learnings. Obviously, when you're doing nothing but meditating and, you know, learning from the courses all day, every day for 10 days, you learn so much, but this is just some of the things that I've learned that I believe are truly important. And so the first thing is that all misery comes from craving something you don't have or having something you don't want. And the greater your attachment or avoidance is to something, the more misery you will feel, and you will feel immediate consequences to this because of your attachment. If you want something to stay the same so badly or to change so badly, doesn't matter how good things are in your life right now, you're going to feel pain due to that attachment. And I'm sure you can think of situations and things and people in your life where you have felt that. And I know I have. And so through experiencing, practicing, stopping doing that, I realized how important this really is. And that's because nothing stays the same. Everything is always changing. That's how nature works. And this practice is all about following nature. And so if you go against nature, you're going to suffer immediately. And that was a really, really powerful learning of mine. I also learned that peace isn't the absence of misery. It's actually the acceptance and the strength to handle the misery. And this is because, like I said, everything in life is always changing, and also there's misery everywhere. And so if you're trying to live a life without misery, you're going to you have an attachment to something that just isn't possible. It's not possible to be in a world where there's no misery. There's misery left, right, and center. People are dying every day. Animals are dying every day. There is so much suffering, so much cruelty. You know, there are people without jobs, without homes, without food, without water, without shelter. You know, there is just misery everywhere. Things break, people break up. You lose things. There is just misery everywhere. And so to try and fight that is having attachment to something that ultimately is always changing. So you'll know that you've been in a really good place in your life, and then suddenly you're not. And you could be in a really bad place and then suddenly you're not. Things are constantly changing, and so learning to accept that and acknowledge that and build that strength to handle the challenges is so, so important. So I learned that peace isn't the absence of misery, it's just having the strength and the power to actually handle the misery that comes your way. That is peace, to come from acceptance with that. And then with that, of course, do something about it, of course. I learnt that continuity is the key to success. It's continuing and practicing and never giving up that really brings success. You know, it's through constantly working towards something that you are going to succeed. Obviously, if you do not continue and you give up, you're not going to get what you want. So it's so important to just keep going. And I learnt this through meditation. If I had judged my results based on day one of meditating, I would have given up, because I would have been like, I'm a failure, I suck at this, I don't know how to do it. But it's actually through doing it for 10 days, day and night, all the time, 12 hours a day, you learn that by keeping on going, you get better. And now I know if I just keep going, I will get better. So many people give up in the early moments because their mind gets the better of them. They do not have control over their mind. Their mind has control over them. And so when you have a limiting thought that says you can't do this, just stop, and you listen to it, your mind wins. Whereas if you continue regardless of how you feel and what's going on, that is how you succeed. And that was a powerful learning. I learned how important it really is to take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. If you are blaming other people and situations, you will never be happy because that's all external. You have no control of the outside world. Not a single thing in the outside world do you have control over. That can change at any moment. People are entitled to make their own decisions and you have no control over that. You only have control over your own mind. And so if you take full responsibility of the results of what you accept and tolerate in your life, you can be happy. So for example, if I have a friend that is suddenly quite mean to me and says some horrible things, and I accept their negativity and their problems and their dumping of emotions and their blame and aggression towards me, if I accept that was my choice. They had a shitty present and they gave it to me and I accepted it. But what would happen if I chose not to accept the present? They would be stuck with their own drama and problems, right? And so it's all about taking 100% responsibility. So if I'm getting really upset or really hurt or really angry, it's because I allowed them to do that to me, right? And so by taking 100% responsibility, I have full control over my decisions and my thoughts and my actions and behaviors. Full control over that. Whereas if you don't have control over your mind, and all these problems are coming around and you're blaming other people, then you're essentially saying, I can't feel good till you make me feel good, till you change this and fix your problems. You have no control over when or if they will ever do that. So it's so much more powerful to just take full responsibility. As soon as you realize, you can be like, I don't actually need to take that on board. I'm not going to accept their insecurities and dive deep on that and sink down to their level. I'm just simply not going to do it. And this is a practice and it still comes into my life. People will do certain things and it's a practice to not react to their own insecurities, right? And I've noticed my response time getting quicker and quicker at getting out of those situations. And then my final learning, and the most important learning, is that investing in your mind through your time, energy, and money is the most important thing you will ever do. Time is our greatest resource. Money makes us take so much action because all of our values are attached to what we use our money for, and we've had to work hard to get it. And our energy is so important. And so wherever you put those three things, you should put that towards improving your mind, because at the end of the day, your mind matters most. And if you do not have control of your mind, the world will defeat you. Other people will stomp all over you and you will constantly experience misery. Whereas if you can have control over your mind, you're good to go. And what I learned from all of this collectively is that the work I do with my clients actually is this. It's teaching them how to embody and not react and instead respond and come from a place of love. And I'm teaching them that through experience and also removing limiting beliefs and negative emotions from the subconscious level. I do not deal with symptoms. I do not deal with surface layer problems. I'm dealing with the root causes. And that is so, so important. And I realize what I've learned and experienced over the last 10 days is exactly what I help my clients with. I believe that this meditation experience absolutely complements what I do, and they're both important for different reasons. But at the end of the day, I realized, wow, what I do with my clients actually works. This is actually changing people's lives. As I experienced it, changed mine. And it's through continuing to do the work that you continue to remove layers. So I had done a lot of work prior to going on this retreat, which helped me so much. And then this meditation retreat helped even more to release even more layers of misery. And it's by keeping on going that you get the results. And I have experienced so many incredible results, which I'm really grateful for in both my business, my relationship with myself and others, and my overall health and well-being. And I have no doubt that you can do the same. So whether that's through this meditation experience, just applying my learnings, working with me or someone else, it all helps when you get to the root cause of what's actually holding you back. So now I have so many more skills and knowledge and wisdom that I can share with my clients upcoming, which is really exciting in all my programs. So if you would like more information on my programs, just head to sofiarosebernardi.com. You know, I offer everyone a free 30-minute clarity call to get clear on where you are, where you want to be, and how you can get there. So if that's something that interests you, just head in the link below. And other than that, that was my experience of the 10-day Vipassana meditation experience. Thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and feel free to leave any comments and feedback. And other than that, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.